Have you ever been trapped in that frustrating silence, the perfect English phrase crystal clear in your mind, only to have it evaporate the second you part your lips to speak? You are not alone. This is the invisible wall that stands between millions of learners and true fluency. The mental gymnastics of constant translation. Many grapple with this challenge, thinking first in their native tongue, painstakingly translating each word, and by the time the sentence is assembled, the natural flow of conversation has long since moved on. But what if you could bypass that entire process? What if you could train your mind to operate directly in English, to think, feel, and react like a native speaker? Today, we embark on a journey to dismantle that wall. We will explore the powerful techniques that can rewire your brain, transforming English from a foreign code you decipher into a natural language you inhabit. Once you master the art of thinking in English, every other skill, speaking with confidence, listening with clarity, and writing with precision, will fall into place. So, if you're ready to stop translating and start truly thinking, stay with us as we unlock the secrets to natural fluency. Let's begin this transformation. The fundamental question we must first address is why this shift in thinking is so monumentally important. The unvarnished truth is that as long as you remain tethered to translation, you will never achieve the seamless, effortless speech you desire. This mental detour creates a significant delay. Your brain is forced to perform double duty, first constructing a thought in its native framework, then laboriously searching for the corresponding English words and grammar. This process is not only slow, but also fraught with error. Language is not a simple one-to-one equation. Word-for-word translations often result in awkward, unnatural phrasing that immediately marks you as a non-native speaker. For instance, a direct translation might lead someone to say, "I have cold," instead of the natural, "I am cold." A subtle but telling difference. By cultivating the ability to think in English, you train your brain to build sentences organically, using the inherent logic and rhythm of the language itself. This brings an incredible surge in confidence. The long, awkward pauses while you mentally search for words, suitable for audiobooks, replaced by a smooth, natural responsiveness. Furthermore, your listening comprehension will skyrocket. When your mind operates in English, it can process spoken language in real time, allowing you to catch nuances and follow conversations effortlessly, whether in a meeting or while enjoying a film. This internal shift even refines your pronunciation as you begin to hear the sounds and cadence of English in your mind before you speak. In essence, thinking in English is the master key that unlocks faster speech, unshakable confidence, sharper listening, and clearer pronunciation. Now, let's diagnose the common habits, the mental roadblocks that keep learners stuck in the translation trap. Many don't even recognize these self-sabotaging patterns. The first and most pervasive mistake is an over-reliance on your bilingual dictionary as a crutch. Constantly translating is like trying to learn to ride a bicycle with the training wheels permanently attached. Constantly translating is like trying to learn to ride a bicycle with the training wheels permanently attached. You must develop the trust that your brain can and will form sentences directly in English without that safety net. You must develop the trust that your brain can and will form sentences directly in English without that safety net. The second major pitfall is an obsession with grammatical perfection during the thinking process. While grammar is undeniably important, agonizing over every rule before you even speak is paralyzing. Suitable for audiobooks don't consciously parse grammar rules in casual conversation. They speak from a place of intuition and habit. Remember, fluency is the goal, not flawless academic precision in every utterance. Even native speakers make grammatical errors. The third obstacle is the crippling fear of making mistakes. This anxiety can be so powerful that it prevents learners from even attempting to think or speak in English. But mistakes are not failures. They are the very stepping stones of learning. Every error is a data point showing you where to improve. Fluency is forged in the fires of practice, not in the sterile environment of perfectionism. Finally, a significant mistake is failing to create an immersive English environment. If English is confined to a textbook or a classroom, your brain will always default to its native language for everyday thought. Immersion is the soil in which the seeds of English thinking can grow. It means weaving the language into the fabric. Immersion is the soil in which the seeds of English thinking can grow. It means weaving the language into the fabric of your daily life through music, podcasts, videos, and reading. Acknowledging these mistakes, relying on translation, overthinking grammar, fearing errors, and avoiding immersion is the first crucial step toward overcoming them. Now, let's move from diagnosis to cure, exploring the powerful step-by-step methodologies to retrain your brain. The journey begins with a beautifully simple action. Start naming the world around you in English. This is a habit anyone can build. As you move through your day, mentally label the objects you see: desk, chair, window, laptop, tree. It's a small act, but it forges a direct neural link between the object and its English name, bypassing your native language entirely. To deepen this practice, begin describing simple actions. Instead of just thinking coffee, think, I am pouring hot coffee into my favorite mug. This connects English to your direct experience. The second step is to start talking to yourself in English. It may feel odd at first, but it is one of the most effective training exercises available. As you go about your routine, cooking dinner, getting ready for work, taking a walk, narrate your actions in simple English. I am chopping onions for the sauce. It is a cloudy day. I should take an umbrella. The beauty of this technique is that it is a zero-pressure environment. There's no one to judge you, so you are free to experiment and make mistakes. It is your private linguistic gymnasium. The third strategy, a true game changer, is to switch to an English-to-English dictionary. When you look up an unfamiliar word, instead of getting a direct translation, you get a definition written in English, suitable for other English words you likely already know. For instance, the definition for exuberant might be filled with lively energy and excitement. This powerful technique forces your brain to build a web of connections, entirely within the English language, strengthening your internal framework and expanding your vocabulary organically. Fourth, begin by thinking in simple sentences. Many learners overwhelm themselves by trying to construct complex, elaborate thoughts from the very beginning. This leads to frustration. Instead, start small. If you're planning a trip to the market, don't try to think, I believe I should proceed to the grocery store in order to procure some fresh vegetables for the meal I am planning to cook this evening. Simply start with, I need food, go to store. As you grow more comfortable, your thoughts will naturally expand in complexity and length. The fifth step is to consciously cultivate an English inner voice. This is about internalizing the language. Instead of your internal monologue running in your native tongue, switch the channel to English. Instead of your internal monologue running in your native tongue, switch the channel to English. Plan your day. Ask yourself questions and ponder ideas in English. What's my first task today? I should check my emails. How do I feel this morning? I feel motivated. This practice transforms your mind into an active English environment, making it the default mode for your thoughts. The final, overarching strategy is to surround yourself with the language. The more English you absorb, the more your brain will begin to think in it automatically. Make English podcasts the soundtrack to your commute. Switch your favorite streaming series to its original English audio. Read articles, blogs, and books in English. This constant exposure normalizes the language, making it a familiar and comfortable space for your mind to inhabit. By implementing these 6 steps, naming objects, talking to yourself, using an English-only dictionary, thinking in simple sentences, cultivating an inner voice, and immersing yourself, you will systematically dismantle the habit of translation and build a new, powerful foundation for thinking directly in English. Knowing the strategies is one thing, but making them an unbreakable habit requires consistent, daily practice. Let's explore some simple exercises you can weave into your daily routine. First, begin and end your day with English thoughts. The very moment you wake up, before your mind defaults to its old patterns, consciously formulate your plans. For the day ahead in English. In your mind, say, "Today is Tuesday. I have a project deadline. I will focus and work hard." Then, at night, as you lie in bed, review the day's events in English. What did I accomplish today? The meeting went well. I felt proud of my presentation. This frames your entire day within an English context. Second, establish a strict no translation rule for a set period each day, perhaps for 30 minutes. During this time, challenge yourself to think exclusively in English. If you get stuck on a word, don't reach for a translator. Instead, try to describe the concept using other English words you know. This exercise builds mental agility and strengthens your ability to think creatively within the language. Third, make your self-talk audible. For a few minutes each day, speak your thoughts out loud in English. Describe what you're doing as you do it. For a few minutes each day, speak your thoughts out loud in English. Describe what you're doing as you do it. I'm washing the dishes now. The water is warm. This soap smells like lemon. Voicing the words reinforces the neural pathways and improves your pronunciation and rhythm simultaneously. Voicing the words reinforces the neural pathways and improves your pronunciation and rhythm simultaneously. Fourth, actively use English thinking during mundane activities, whether you are driving, jogging, or waiting in line. Suitable for audiobooks to engage your mind in English. Observe your surroundings and describe them. That is a tall building. There are many people on the street. I feel the gentle breeze. This transforms idle moments into productive practice sessions. Finally, keep a simple English journal. Each day, write a few sentences about your thoughts, feelings, or experiences. This is not about perfect prose. It's about the raw act of expressing yourself in English. Document your goals, your worries, your joys. This practice not only reinforces your English thinking, but also creates a tangible record of your progress, which is a powerful motivator. By integrating these small exercises into your daily life, the act of thinking in English will gradually shift from a conscious effort to an unconscious, automatic habit. The journey will inevitably present challenges. It is natural to revert to your native language, especially when tired or stressed. The solution is patience and a gentle return to basics. Start again with single words and short phrases. Another common frustration is feeling stuck when you can't find the right word, instead of giving up. Embrace circumlocution, the art of describing something when you don't know the specific term. If you forget the word key, you can think, the metal thing I used to open the door. The goal is to keep the flow of English thought moving forward. Perhaps the toughest challenge is the feeling of slow progress, which can erode motivation. progress in language learning is rarely linear. The solution is to track your journey. Record yourself speaking for a minute each week. Reread your journal entries from a month ago. You will be astonished at the difference. Celebrate these small victories. Thinking in English is a skill, and like any skill, it requires time, patience, and persistent practice. So, what is the very first step you will take on this transformative journey? Share your commitment in the comments below. If this guide has illuminated your path forward, please show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more secrets to unlocking your language potential. Your engagement fuels our mission. Until next time, keep practicing, keep thinking, and watch as the world of English opens up to you in ways you never imagined. Happy learning. But what does this journey of happy learning truly entail? It is not a magical, frictionless ascent to fluency. It is a path of discovery, and like any great expedition, it has its treacherous terrain. We have outlined the map and the foundational techniques, but now we must discuss the more subtle challenges that arise when you move beyond the beginner's trail. These are the internal hurdles, the psychological battles, that every single successful learner has had to face and conquer. The first of these, and perhaps the most disheartening, is the notorious intermediate plateau. This is that frustrating stage where you feel you are no longer making rapid progress. In the beginning, every new word, every new grammar rule felt like a giant leap forward. You could clearly see your improvement day by day, but now you may feel stuck. You understand a great deal. You can communicate your basic needs, but you seem to have hit an invisible ceiling. The feeling of stagnation can be a powerful poison to your motivation. It is crucial to understand. The feeling of stagnation can be a powerful poison to your motivation. It is crucial to understand that this plateau is not a sign of failure. It is a natural and predictable part of the learning process. It happens because your passive vocabulary, the words you recognize, has grown far larger than your active vocabulary, the words you use confidently in speech. To break through this, you must shift your focus from passive consumption to active creation. It is no longer enough to simply listen to podcasts or watch videos. You must actively engage with the language. One powerful technique is to start a small personal project in English. For instance, decide to research a topic you're passionate about, whether it's gardening, ancient history, or astrophysics, and prepare a short 5-minute presentation on it. This forces you to learn and actively use specific vocabulary. You must organize your thoughts, structure sentences, and practice speaking them aloud. Another method is to engage in shadowing, where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say in real time, mimicking their intonation, rhythm, and stress. This practice bridges the gap between listening comprehension and spoken production, helping to activate your passive knowledge. Do not see the plateau as a wall, but as a new level of the game with a different set of rules. Do not see the plateau as a wall, but as a new level of the game with a different set of rules. The goal is no longer just to learn more words, but to master the ones you already know and to use them with greater precision and creativity. The second great internal adversary is the relentless voice of your own inner critic. This is the voice that whispers doubts in your ear right before you speak. You're going to make a mistake. They will think your accent is terrible. That sentence sounds awkward. This internal judge can be so paralyzing that it keeps your mouth shut even when you know what you want to say. The fear of imperfection becomes a cage. To overcome this, you must learn to reframe your relationship with mistakes. Instead of viewing an error as a mark of failure, you must learn to see it as a beacon of learning. Every mistake is a signpost, pointing directly to an area where you can improve. When you stumble over a word, it's not a catastrophe. It's an opportunity to look it up, understand it better, and add it to your active vocabulary. When you use the wrong tense, it's not a reason for shame. It's a signal to review that particular grammar point. Start treating yourself with the same kindness and patience you would offer a friend who is learning something new. Start treating yourself with the same kindness and patience you would offer a friend who is learning something new. One practical exercise is to consciously celebrate your favorite mistake of the day. At the end of the day, identify one error you made while speaking or writing, and instead of feeling bad about it, investigate it with curiosity. Why did you make that mistake? What is the correct way? Suitable for audiobooks, commercial voiceovers. Investigate it with curiosity. Why did you make that mistake? What is the correct way? By turning it into a moment of discovery, you strip the inner critic of its power. You transform fear into fascination. Remember, fluency is not about being flawless. It is about effective and confident communication. Every single native speaker makes slips of the tongue and grammatical errors in casual conversation. The goal is connection, not perfection. Another subtle challenge, one that is rarely discussed, is cognitive fatigue. Thinking in a foreign language is mentally exhausting. Your brain is performing a high-intensity workout, suitable for accessing new neural pathways, processing unfamiliar sounds, and constructing grammatical structures that are not its default. It is completely normal to feel drained after a long conversation or an hour of immersive study. Ignoring this fatigue can lead to burnout, frustration, and a desire to give up. The solution is to integrate strategic rest and variation into your practice. Instead of one long, grueling study session, try several shorter, focused bursts of 25-30 minutes with short breaks in between. This is known as the Pomodoro technique, and it works wonders for language learning. Furthermore, learn to have an English light mode for days when you feel tired. On these days, don't force yourself to read a complex article or have a deep philosophical conversation. Instead, put on some English music in the background, watch a familiar sitcom you enjoy, or play a simple word game on your phone. These low-effort activities keep you immersed in the language without demanding too much mental energy. Respect your brain's limits. Rest is not laziness. It is an essential part of the learning process, allowing your mind to consolidate everything you've learned. As you grow more comfortable with these internal landscapes, you can begin to incorporate more advanced techniques for thinking in English. Let's move beyond simple narration and into the realm of rich mental simulation. The first advanced technique is deep visualization. This is more than just naming objects. It's about creating a complete sensory movie in your mind, entirely in English. For example, instead of just thinking, "I need to go to the supermarket," close your eyes for a moment and truly visualize the entire experience. See yourself walking out your door. The thought in your head is, "The air feels cool this morning." You visualize the street, the cars, and think, "I hope the traffic isn't too heavy." You imagine walking into the store, the bright lights, the colors of the fresh produce. Your inner monologue continues. "Okay, first, I need some tomatoes. They look ripe and red. How much are they? Let me check the sign." You can even imagine a short, simple interaction with a store employee. "Excuse me, where can I find the olive oil?" "Excuse me, where can I find the olive oil?" This practice builds an incredibly rich, multi-sensory web of English in your mind, connecting the language not just to words, but to images, feelings, and imagined experiences. It makes the language come alive. A second, more playful but surprisingly effective technique is to adopt an English persona. This is a psychological trick to bypass the inhibitions and anxieties tied to your primary identity. Your native language self might be shy or worried about making mistakes, but your English persona can be whatever you want it to be. Perhaps your English persona is a confident world traveler, a witty detective, or a charismatic public speaker. When you step into this role, even just in your own mind, it can liberate you. It creates a small psychological distance. That makes it feel safer to experiment and take risks with the language. You're not the one making a mistake, your persona is. This can be especially helpful before a meeting, a presentation, or any situation where you feel performance anxiety. Take a moment to step into your confident English persona, and you may be surprised at how much more freely the words begin to flow. Finally, to truly begin thinking like a native speaker, you must graduate from thinking in single words to thinking in chunks. Languages are not built word by individual word. They are built from common groupings of words or collocations. Native speakers don't think, "I will make a decision." They think in one unit, "I'll make a decision." They don't think, "very heavy rain." They think, "heavy rain." Start training your ear and your mind to notice these chunks. When you read an article or listen to a podcast, don't just hunt for new vocabulary words, hunt for these word partnerships. Keep a dedicated section in your notebook for these chunks, for example, to take a risk, to express concern. A sense of humor. On the other hand, when you practice your inner monologue, consciously try to construct your thoughts using these chunks. Instead of thinking, "The choice is hard for me to make," try thinking, "I'm finding it difficult to make a decision." This is a subtle shift, but it is the absolute key to unlocking natural, fluid, native-sounding thought and speech. It is the final bridge between sounding like a student and sounding like a fluent speaker. It is the final bridge between sounding like a student and sounding like a fluent speaker. By embracing the plateau, silencing the inner critic, managing your energy, and practicing these advanced mental techniques, you are not just learning a language, you are remodeling your mind. You are building a new wing onto your consciousness. A space where you can live, think, and dream in a new tongue. The path is not always easy, but with these tools, a space where you can live, think, and dream in a new tongue. The path is not always easy, but with these tools, it is a path you can navigate with confidence, curiosity, and even joy. What you are building is a skill that will last a lifetime, opening doors to new worlds, new people, and new ways of seeing yourself. And this new way of seeing yourself is perhaps the most profound reward of the entire journey. And this new way of seeing yourself is perhaps the most profound reward of the entire journey. It transcends vocabulary lists and grammar rules, moving into the very architecture of your identity. When you build the capacity to think in a new language, you are not merely adding a skill, you are adding a new dimension to your consciousness. You are giving yourself the gift of a second lens through which to view the world, and just as importantly, to view yourself. This brings us to a crucial, often overlooked aspect of true fluency: cultural intelligence. Thinking in English is not just about stringing together grammatically correct sentences. It is about understanding the cultural software that runs the linguistic hardware. Language is the DNA of a culture, carrying its history, its values, and its unspoken rules of engagement. To think like a native speaker, you must begin to perceive these invisible currents. Consider the simple act of making a request. In some cultures, a direct command is efficient and clear. In English, particularly in British or professional American contexts, It can feel abrupt or even rude. A learner who translates directly might think, "I want you to send me the report." But a person thinking in English would navigate a complex web of politeness, perhaps thinking, "I was wondering if you might have a chance to send over that report when you're free," or "Would it be possible to get that report by the end of the day?" This is not just a different choice of words, it is a different mode of thinking. One that is attuned to social harmony, indirectness, and the preservation of face. The same is true for humor, sarcasm, and understatement. These are not universal concepts, they are deeply culturally specific. The dry, self-deprecating wit of British humor is a world away from the more direct, often boisterous humor found in many American sitcoms. Learning to think in English means learning to recognize the subtle wink in a sarcastic comment, or understanding that when a British person says an idea is not bad, it might be the highest form of praise. You begin to develop an intuitive feel for what is appropriate, what is funny, and what is implied but not said. This is the leap from being a student of the language to becoming a participant in its culture. You stop being an outsider looking in, deciphering a code, and start becoming an insider, capable of navigating the intricate social dance with grace and confidence. This cultural immersion, in turn, accelerates your internal transformation. As you internalize these new ways of communicating, you may discover new facets of your own personality. The identity you have in your native language is shaped by the expressive tools that language provides. When you switch to English, you are handed a different toolkit. You might find that the English version of you is more direct, more assertive, because the language facilitates that kind of expression more readily. You might discover a playful, witty side you never knew you had because you've been absorbing English humor through films and podcasts. This is not about becoming a different person, but about allowing a more complete, multifaceted version of yourself to emerge. The anxieties that held you back in your native tongue may not have the same power over your English persona. You have the freedom to redefine yourself, to experiment with new ways of being. This integration of a new linguistic and cultural identity is the ultimate goal. It is the point at which thinking in English ceases to be a conscious exercise and becomes an unconscious state of being. And this is when the true magic happens in real-world conversations. When you are no longer mentally translating, no longer rehearsing sentences, no longer worrying about the next word, a huge amount of cognitive energy is freed up. And what do you do with that energy? You listen. Truly listen. You are no longer just waiting for your turn to speak. You are present in the moment, absorbing not just the words the other person is saying, but their tone, their body language, their true meaning. Your mind is quiet and receptive. You can respond with genuine spontaneity, your thoughts flowing directly from your mind to your mouth in a seamless stream. This is the state of flow that all fluent speakers experience. It's a feeling of effortlessness, where the language is no longer an obstacle, but a perfect vehicle for your thoughts and feelings. Conversations become less of a test and more of a connection. You can build rapport, share a genuine laugh, debate a complex idea, and offer comfort, all with a natural ease that felt impossible before. Debate a complex idea and offer comfort, all with a natural ease that felt impossible before. You are no longer just speaking English. You are connecting with another human being through English. So, as we conclude this journey together, let us reframe our entire perspective. The goal was never just to think in English. That is merely the mechanism. The true goal is to unlock a new world of experience. It is about the thrill of understanding. A movie without subtitles, the joy of reading a great novel in its original language, the confidence of leading a meeting. with international colleagues, and the profound human connection of forming a friendship with someone from a different corner of the world. Each step we have discussed, from naming objects to thinking in cultural chunks, is a stepping stone on this path. Embrace the challenges. See the intermediate plateau not as a barrier, but as a vista from which you can survey how far you've come. Befriend your inner critic and turn its voice from one of fear to one of curiosity. Respect your mind's need for rest. Celebrate every small victory, every conversation that felt a little smoother, every moment you forgot you were even speaking a foreign language. The process of rewiring your brain to think in English is one of the most challenging and rewarding mental undertakings you can pursue. It is a testament to the incredible plasticity of the human mind. It is an investment in yourself that will pay dividends for the rest of your life, opening doors you never knew existed. Do not see English as a subject to be mastered and checked off a list. See it as a lifelong companion, a tool that will grow with you, allowing you to continually learn, connect, and evolve. The journey does not end when you become fluent. In many ways, that is when it truly begins. The journey does not end when you become fluent. In many ways, that is when it truly begins. So take these tools, embrace this process, and start building your new reality, one English thought at a time. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say. The world is waiting to hear what you have to say.